Hamlet. Summary, themes, and why. It still matters. What if the most dangerous part of a tragedy is not murder, but hesitation? That is the world of Hamlet, one of the most famous plays ever written by William Shakespeare. It is a story about revenge, grief, betrayal, and a man who thinks so deeply that he struggles to act. In this video, I'll give you a full summary of the play and explain the key ideas that make it powerful even today. Hamlet is not just a story about a prince seeking revenge. It is also a story about confusion, moral doubt, corruption, and the pain of living in a world where nothing feels completely trustworthy. The play is set in Denmark, where Prince Hamlet is mourning his father, the king. But before he can recover from that loss, his life is shaken by a series of disturbing events. His mother, Gertrude, marries his uncle Claudius very quickly after the funeral. Then Hamlet meets the ghost of his father, who reveals that Claudius murdered him and demands revenge. From that moment on, Hamlet is trapped in a difficult conflict. He wants justice, but he also wants proof. He wants action, but he is also full of doubt. The play opens in a dark and tense atmosphere. On the castle walls in Denmark, guards see a ghost that looks like the dead king. This immediately creates a feeling of mystery and unease. The ghost is not just a frightening image. It is a sign that something is deeply wrong in the kingdom. Soon after, we learn that King Hamlet has died, and his brother Claudius has taken the throne and married Queen Gertrude. To Hamlet, this marriage feels like betrayal. He cannot understand how his mother could move on so quickly. His grief turns into anger, and his anger turns into suspicion. Then the ghost appears to Hamlet himself. It tells him that Claudius poured poison into the king's ear while he slept. The ghost demands that Hamlet avenge the murder. This is the real beginning of the play's central conflict. Hamlet now knows, or believes he knows, that his uncle is guilty. But instead of acting immediately, he begins to think, question, and delay. This hesitation is one of the most important parts of Hamlet. Many revenge heroes in literature act quickly, but Hamlet is different. He is intelligent, reflective, and deeply aware of moral complexity. He does not simply want to kill Claudius. He wants to be sure Claudius deserves it. This makes Hamlet a very modern character. He is not a simple hero or villain. He is a person torn between emotion and reason. He feels pressure to act, but he also fears making a terrible mistake. One of the clearest examples of this is when Hamlet decides to test Claudius by staging a play. He asks actors to perform a scene that closely resembles the murder described by the ghost. If Claudius reacts nervously, Hamlet will know the ghost was telling the truth. And that is exactly what happens. Claudius becomes visibly disturbed during the performance. Hamlet now has stronger evidence that Claudius killed his father. But even then, Hamlet does not immediately take revenge. He keeps thinking, hesitating, and analyzing. This delay creates tension throughout the play, and it also leads to tragedy, because while Hamlet waits, other characters suffer and die. As Hamlet struggles internally, the world around him becomes more chaotic. Ophelia, the woman Hamlet loves, is caught in the middle of the political and family conflict. Her father Polonius and brother Laertes warn her about Hamlet, and she becomes emotionally trapped. Hamlet's behavior toward her is harsh and confusing, and her mental state begins to collapse. Meanwhile, Polonius spies on Hamlet and Gertrude. During a private confrontation with his mother, Hamlet hears someone behind a curtain and kills him, thinking it is Claudius, but it is actually Polonius. This mistake is a major turning point in the play. After Polonius dies, everything becomes more dangerous. Claudius sends Hamlet away, hoping to remove the threat. Ophelia loses control of her mind and eventually dies, apparently by suicide. Her death is one of the saddest moments in the play because she is one of the innocent victims of the corruption around her. Then Laertes returns, furious over his father's death. Claudius uses Laertes' anger to create another revenge plot, this time against Hamlet. The king's plan is to have Laertes duel Hamlet with a poisoned sword, while also keeping poisoned wine ready as backup. This part of the play shows how revenge spreads. One act of murder leads to another, and the entire court becomes a place of manipulation, spying, and hidden danger. The ending of Hamlet is fast, violent, and tragic. In the duel between Hamlet and Laertes, both men are wounded by the poisoned sword. Gertrude drinks the poisoned wine by accident and dies. Laertes reveals the truth about Claudius's plot. Hamlet finally acts, killing Claudius before dying himself. By the end of the play, nearly everyone important is dead. The Danish royal family has destroyed itself, and the kingdom is left in ruin. This ending is powerful because it feels both shocking and inevitable. All the fear, hesitation, anger, and betrayal in the play finally come together in one tragic moment. Now, let's look at the main ideas in Hamlet. 1. Revenge. The play begins with a demand for revenge, but Shakespeare shows that revenge does not bring justice cleanly. Instead, it creates more violence and more suffering. 2. Doubt and indecision. Hamlet constantly questions what is true, what is right, and what action he should take. His hesitation is not weakness alone, it is also a sign of deep moral awareness. 3. Madness. A major question in the play is whether Hamlet is truly mad or only pretending. His strange behavior confuses the people around him and helps him hide his intentions. 4. Appearance versus reality. Almost everyone in the play is hiding something. Claudius hides guilt, Polonius hides behind spying, and Hamlet himself hides behind performance. This creates a world where nothing can be trusted at face value. 5. Mortality-death is everywhere in Hamlet. The famous graveyard scene with the skull of Yorick reminds us that all human greatness ends in death. This gives the play a deep philosophical tone. So why is Hamlet still read and performed today? Because it is about human problems that never go away. People still deal with grief, family conflict, betrayal, fear, and the pressure to make the right choice. Hamlet feels timeless because he reflects the struggle between thought and action that many people understand. The play also shows the power of language. Shakespeare gives Hamlet some of the most famous speeches in literature, and those speeches reveal a mind that is constantly searching for meaning. The language itself becomes part of the character's struggle. For a language analysis channel, this is especially important. Hamlet is a perfect text to study because it combines emotion, philosophy, symbolism, and rich expression. It gives you not only a story, but also a way to explore how language creates meaning. To sum up, Hamlet is a tragedy about a prince who wants revenge but cannot stop thinking. It is a story about grief, corruption, truth, and the cost of delay. And even though it was written centuries ago, it still speaks to readers today because its questions are still our questions.